Tyran. What up, baby? What up, baby? What up, baby?
Cheers, toast the crime, the crime. There we go. There we go. So hopefully you guys can see me, at least hear me. So this episode will be more of a audio type of thing. I'm not really going to go into the video portion of it, but it'll be audio. But like I said, I want to share some life sharing knowledge with you guys because, like I say, times are hard. So one of the things that that I always talk about kind of managing my life through the stock market, through learning finances and so on. With me, I started learning about finances kind of sort of the hard way where everybody else had to. I had to learn about finances by not having money. When you don't have money, you learn all about money and the value of it. And that's kind of how I started having that appreciation to money. But yeah, Stu, you're gonna be able to hear me. I'm not going video today, bro. I'm going strictly audio on this one. Kind of on the go a little bit, so I don't want the videos to be moving around. But like I said, the purpose of everything is just strictly to hopefully give everybody a tidbit, a little bit of leg up on knowledge on how to maneuver financially through the stock market. That's what works for me, mostly because, well, I'm retired. I retired from the Marine Corps, did 20 years, as everyone know, and I don't want a job. I don't want a job at all, but I do want to make a lot of money. So the stock market for me was the absolute best place because I can do this right here at home. I don't have to leave my couch. I don't have to leave the bed. I don't have to leave the house to be able to make money within the stock market. So that's why I was super attracted to it. Um, Believe it or not, regardless of what people think of me on social media, I am an introvert. Honestly, I am very much an introvert. I don't really like being around a lot of people. I don't like a lot of different energies around me, so on and so forth. So I like keeping my butt in the house. So if I can stay in my house and still make a lot of money, yes, you have my full attention at this point because now I want to make money. So that's what kind of attracted me to the stock market. And honestly, man, it hasn't steered me wrong. Most importantly, the richest man in the world, Warren Buffett at the time, he made a comment and he stated how he makes his money. And he makes his money obviously through a lot of investments, but he makes it mostly through the stock market. He stated without the stock market, he would probably be broke or he wouldn't be as rich as he is. So for me, it just stated that if that's where the richest man in the world flips his money, well, it's kind of common sense. That's where my broke ass needed to be. So it works out and it's been doing the thing for me. So if anyone has been chopping it all, before I get started with anything, I normally like to run over who I am. Sometimes people, maybe you forgot, maybe sometimes people just tune in and don't know. And it's like, hey man, who the hell is this guy talking to me? So I always like to just kind of go over a little tidbit of who I am. All right. I am Tyran Cosby, and I'm the host of this particular show, Beer Talk with a Veteran. The things that I do here, the purpose of it is hopefully just to educate my guys who used to once upon a time work for me and anybody else who wants some type of knowledge on how to leg up in life. Me, who am I? What have I done? Man, it's almost like what haven't I done type of situation with me. All right. I joined the hardest military branch that there absolutely is, the United States Marine Corps. And not only did I join it, I did 20 successful years in that mug. So it's kind of tell you that I'm not, I don't have all the screws up tight, because you got to be batshit crazy to just do 4 years in the Marine Corps, let alone 20. During my time in, I did a lot of things while I was in. Obviously, I went to combat. While in combat, I got awarded for my leadership and my work ethic while in combat. So I always brag on that to say that I don't think there's anywhere worse in the world to be than combat, and still in combat. You know what I'm saying? I still thrive through my leadership. Now, I will hands down say Stu's Logistics is listening right now, and Stu was one of my heavy hitters out there in Afghanistan when I worked. So I always say, no matter what awards, no matter what kudos, no matter what I got while I was out there for my leadership, it was people like Stewart, Albert, Kepner, Stu, you know the crew. It was you guys that made me look good. So I always brag on you for that. So thank you, Stu. Also, during my time, I'm a professional chef, not just a guy who loves to cook, but I am also a professional school-trained chef. All right, travel the world, work with celebrity chef David Rose. Man, it's so much. I don't like going through my resume because it always sounds like I'm bragging. But the biggest thing for me, and my biggest thing that I try to push to people, is what is financial freedom? And for me, I have a different definition than most. Financial freedom for me is just strictly any time that I can spend with my family. At any moment and anything I do, if I can spend it with my family, I'm the richest man in the world. All right. That's just me. So being able to get my life into a position where I can afford my cost of living, no matter what the economy goes, that's, to me, that's financially free. I don't need big cars. I don't need, to travel the world. I don't need any of that. I just need to be able to kick it with my family. And for me, the family thing, a lot of people say family is a lot to them, and I do agree. I know for me, I've literally almost died several times. And the first thing I ever thought about was my family. So that's the reason I say, hey, no matter what I do, it's about them first. So yeah. So either way, own businesses. I probably went all around everywhere. I've done talks, I've done different things. I just stay busy, man, almost like a Snoop Dogg type of thing. When it comes to the stock market, things that I always want people to remember. So as you watch this video, I hope you take a pen and a pad and you write this down. But these are key terms that I want you to know. And Stu, if you listen, and just play this back, because if I know you, you may be on the road. But the terms that I really want you to know is, like, what is a stock price? What is a moving average? All right. These are the things that help you start to understand how the stock market works. What is assets? Capital gains is definitely something you need to understand, because as you make money in the stock market, Uncle Sam is going to tax the hell out of that ass for making it. He is never going to let us make any money, and he don't get a cut. But you can also do things like offset your capital gains through the losses that you have in the stock market. And of course, that's a whole nother class. But so capital gains and definitely compound interest. Compound interest is something that I love to explain, because I want parents. So Stuart, you got little kids, anybody that got little kids, grandkids, little nieces, nephews, whatever. Compound interest is something that you 100% need to understand how it works, because what you start today could benefit them like you have no clue how in the next 18, 20 years, just off of something that you started today, because of what's called compound interest. That's not really something that you're going to pick up in a 4-minute conversation. So that's why I say these terminologies, if you just get a second, man, write them down and do your due diligence and homework on them as to what they are. We should all kind of know what a portfolio is per se, but if not, just look at a portfolio as like the closet in your house. That's where you store all your stuff, whether it's valuable junk or whatever. Day trade, swing trade is definitely something to learn, because people just instantly, when they hear Walmart, not Walmart, when they hear Wall Street, you instantly start thinking you're going to be a day trader. No, that's not the case. All right. When we start talking about trading, you can do things from day trade, or you can do what's called swing trade, which is meaning you're going to hold your contracts or stocks more than one day. All right. So again, that's something to learn on your own, but these terminologies hands down will help you start understanding things different. So moving average, convergence, divergence, the MACD, the volume weighted average price, which is the VWAP, and then volume. These terminologies are what it's like the glossary. You start learning these and you'll pick up on things right away. All right. So that's a little bit of that. So it's kind of who I am. So what I want to do now, and Stu, since you're in, you probably be the one to get to ask the most questions if you want. But I'm going to bring my friend Maurice to the stage. And before I do that, I'm gonna run my suck hole again and I just want to say who Maurice is. Now, if you listen to the episodes before, then you know he's been on here, and he's been a total 100% honest person since the day he stepped on. But to me, I ain't never really got to say who Maurice was. When I met Maurice, man, he was just who he is when he's talking to you guys. He's like an authentic, genuine person. Maurice is the big dog. He is not, I don't think, and I'm gonna have to get corrected on his title. He's not a financial advisor. He's the big dog, I think, financial management. So he's gonna correct me on that. But the thing I love about him is he's just that. When you talk to a lot of financial managers and financial advisors, sometimes they just straight to the point. They don't have time. They don't want to hear your excuses of why you don't have any money or why you're blowing money. They don't want to hear none of that. They're looking at your stuff and saying, say, man, I don't give a damn that your dog need to eat the best food around. This is where you're blowing your money at. This is where you're screwing yourself. So it doesn't really matter the type of attitudes that people get when they hear how they need to correct their finances. A financial advisor, that's his job, is to tell you where you're screwed up so you can no longer be screwed up in that. And the thing that I love about Maurice is he got the coolest way to telling you that you fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like, he'll do it with a smile and you'll walk away, and then you got to think like, hey, wait a minute. I think it just cussed me out. So that's the type of dude Maurice is, man. So I'm gonna stop bragging on him and bring him to the stage. But yeah, he's an authentic, genuine dude. So Stu, if you're out there got any questions, man, definitely talk to him. All right, Maurice, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I appreciate you taking your time out, man, and chopping it up with me this morning. I know it's super early.
Oh no, it's fine. I actually am usually up at 6. And so I was laughing at the telling them they're messing up with their money.
Because see, they don't get to talk to you like I get to talk to you sometime, you know. So I always tell Kimmy sometime, I'm like, wait, I think he might have just cursed me out. You know, I'm not really sure how to take that, because it's just that. It's straight to the point, man. I ain't got time to sit here and talk to you about all this. That's where you jacked up.
You know, it's funny because we were kind of talking about, talking today and some things, and I was out of town doing some conferences. In fact, at one conference they said one thing that creates a negative emotion in a client is shaming them. So they're already humbling themselves to come to your office. So if you start making them feel ashamed, it's not a conversation starter unless you got a 26-year or 20-year plus Marine.
Yeah, we're a little different. we gonna want the ass chewing, you know what I'm saying? Right. Other than that, we ain't finna listen.
Yeah, the average person doesn't have that exterior, so you do have to hit them with some honey and along with the vinegar. But no, I concur. I mean, I like what you said about. I've never heard that definition before, which is financial freedom is. I wrote it down. Hold on, let me get it right. Anytime I can spend with my family, it's financial freedom. So I concur with that completely. And so I am a big puppy in the world of finance, but I working towards being a big dog for sure.
Right.
So I appreciate the introduction. And hey man, I learned something new about you. I keep forgetting the chef part, and usually people who cook just talk about it all the time. You never talk about it. You went to my event and ate my food and never once said, well, man, I can cook this at home. And this is
honest, I'm gonna be honest. If I didn't mention that I was a chef, that means your food was good. I'm gonna be honest with you. Yeah, that mean it was good. Yeah, because I'll probably be like, well, hey, say, bro, I'm a chef, man.
Yeah.
So you ever
maybe
got
that's
something going.
And maybe that's why everybody I've dealt with has told me that meant that the food was bad that day. But
Well,
I
see,
appreciate you coming
yeah,
out that one evening. And we coming
yeah, that
back to
event that I was at, man, that food was slamming, man. That food was all right to me. So
and we're trying to come back. Maybe not to that particular place, but we're in the planning phases now. So I'll keep you in the loop, of course, for our next event.
man,
Um,
please do. And
yeah.
Maurice, and since you're here, I do want to ask you because that's normally my thing is, well, one, how can I push people to you? But
Mhm.
then on the same note, me and you have talked about this, but I never really ever really asked like what your ideal client is every day that you would, kind of deal with. So I guess before I do anything, I should ask that, like, what is your ideal type of avatar that you cater, not cater to, but you normally would market to?
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna give you a frou-frou one, right? But it's truthful, right? I mean, yeah, we all want everybody want to get what you have, which is the freedom to spend time. If you think about it, if you could do 1 hour of work that was equal to 40 hours of work, you would, right? And that would
Facts.
that would free up 39 hours, right?
That's right.
So in the advisory world, that translates into one client having a certain amount of money. You do, you got one phone number, one name, one email, one account to manage, and then you're free to do what you want. And that's how advisors get to that kind of snotty, if you will, kind of, hey, you need to have this much money to work with me. Some of that is driven by just purely, trying to manage their time. Now, so that answer is always there. I can always give you the 500,000 income, what or 500,000. But really what's not said is, and advisors need to check themselves. All of us know this term, pro bono. Now when I say
Yes.
pro bono, who am I talking about?
Well, I would say you're probably giving your time to us for
Right,
free. I
right.
take it.
And we
Yes.
usually associated with lawyers, right?
Right. Right.
And
There you go.
lawyers are busy for a living. They bill based on hours. So they're actually trying to get more hours. So if lawyers can break out X amount of time, like I got one client, he got an award. I think he did so many hours. I don't know. I think it was 50 or 100 or something like that. But I saw it in his office. I'm like, man, this guy, he's running two law firms actually, got two kids, blah blah blah, and he's doing pro bono. Advisors should make room for people. But I'm not even saying it from a charity standpoint. Really, what I'm looking for in a client is three things: passion, persistence, and interest. A
Mm,
passion to get better, an interest in at least knowing some of this stuff, and being persistent in getting the job done, which I think that translates to anybody. If you show up like that, then I'm going to make the time to work with you, because you're easy. Now, if you're sitting around here, complaining, then nobody wants that. So that's
right.
that's when you start hearing, my clients that make less than this, they always complain, and my clients that make more than this, they don't. You hear that a lot in advisor circles. So, but it's not absolute. So I'll give you an example. I just signed up. I like when the young clients show. I just signed up a 22-year-old. He's like, Maurice, I don't want to reveal. He's working at a certain company that's really popular. He knows when he's going to retire. They got a 20-year retirement plan.
Mm.
He's listening to all these people tell him what he needs to do. He shows up at my office. He's ready to do it. You know, 1+1 = 3 with him. He's just going to do it. And so I even told him, I said, man, look, I want to sign you because I'm 48, you 22. When you 48, you'll be my retirement plan. I'll be like 60 or 74 years old. And I was quite frank with him. I said, look, you don't have a lot of money, but you will. So let's get going. But the real reason I work with him is because he wants to get in. He's got the passion, the persistence, and the interest. So
Mm.
that's who I'm looking for.
Okay. So okay, and in that same example, I'll take it the typical everyday person, and I don't want to use my buddy Stu because I don't know his finances, but I know
Right.
Stu's a hard worker. He's a truck driver. He's always over the road, and I would imagine if Stu's like me, he probably got bills out of the yin yang because, well, he's always gone and shit adds up. So, in a person of his nature, um, how would that look if he wanted to come see you?
Yeah. So with the internet, yesterday I had a client. His younger brother is stationed somewhere, and he said, "Look, man, when I get some, I'm trying to find this text message, but he said I'm gonna set it up on that calendar link thing, and he said." he's in Poland. He's deployed in Poland, so there's a time zone
Mm.
difference. And I said, hey, just here's my calendar link. Set it up. He set one up for 10 a.m. on August 30th. So I guess 10
Mm.
a.m. August 30th, he's not working. So it's really with the financial tools we have, and I've had truck drivers before, by the way.
Okay.
With the financial tools we have, or the communication tools, I should say, everything is made possible where there's an interest, passion, persistence, interest. So I definitely can make room to work with folks like that, who have schedules that are a little more dynamic, if you will, than
Right.
your ordinary 9 to 5. Which I don't know if anybody has a ordinary 9 to 5 anymore. So,
What's that?
yeah.
Like a
So
9 till I get off.
right, right. So yeah, but
Okay.
yeah,
And because I guess that's been my biggest thing, man. I wanna help people, i.e. my friend Stewart and a lot of other my friends, but my biggest passion is to ensure that their kids get that leg up that we kind of didn't, or we want our kids to have. And whether that's they start a retirement fund for them, because a lot of parents aren't thinking about a retirement fund for their kids right now.
right.
Most importantly, even if the kid's not born, that's the perfect time to me anyway to start one. But college fund, different things like that. So I know sometimes it's hard for them to just get their own retirements and things set up. So I guess the question is that something that could be set up as well? Like, hey, I want this for my child at college or whatever, and then they would come see you to set that up. Is that correct?
Definitely, definitely. And
Okay.
the way we do college fund, I'm not gonna get too technical, but we do it a little bit differently than what you hear about. And it's not saying it's better in terms of performance. I mean, the stock market is the stock market, but in terms of where we put your money, I think is better served for most people who are having a college savings conversation. Um, don't need to save for college the way they hear about college.
Right.
And so once I make that clear, they really lock into what I'm saying, and we have a much better experience around that. So,
Mm.
but yeah, we can definitely help them with college, within the context of their overall goals for sure. So
Okay. And so let me ask, what do you think the gap is? So that gap where we, maybe from kid to adulthood, we don't really know about finances per se. And I know a lot of it comes from my parents, and maybe they had a lack of it, so they couldn't teach. But I guess for me, it's too much. Like, does that make sense? Like, like if it was my house and somebody else's house, I guess that's one thing. But this is almost like an epidemic for us, with us not knowing finances.
right.
So I guess my questions to you, from what you've learned, where does that lack of knowledge fall at?
So there's a lack of knowledge, right? But then there's also going to be you have to have the will. Like you're familiar with growth and fixed mindsets. And so if you think about it, almost everything we do is there's a knowledge gap, but there's also a permission we give ourselves to close that gap. So, for example,
Mhm.
when do they teach mortgages in school? I never saw amortization tape.
Right. Same, same.
And most people don't understand APR, but they get the cars, right? And they get the
Mhm.
credit cards, they get the cars, and they get the houses, right? So,
Right.
but all of those are based on large sums of money at interest rates and things like that. That people just say, okay, I kind of understand what you're saying, but not really. But they've given themselves permission to buy the home, get the car, get the credit card. And so, but when it comes to the stock market, they've allowed, and really, it's really the fear of losing money, right? That's
Mhm.
really what it is, right? So,
Yep.
so,
Yep.
so if home prices move like stock prices, we'd have the same conversation. So, and that's one of the things I covered this weekend, which was when I was out of town. I was in New Orleans at you ever heard of Noble? It's the National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executives.
Hmm. No, I
Huge
haven't.
organization. This is their 48th year that they've met. And so I talked to them. I said, look, I told them kind of what you said earlier. Like Buffett's made that comment about the stock market. What I told them was the stock market is the greatest wealth creator of all time. Okay.
Facts.
And I listed all these reasons, and I said it's liquid. You can get in and out really quickly. But one of the things I said was, it's the only way you can make money that you don't need a loan. Like, you don't need a loan to start investing.
Right.
When you think about
Right.
it, need a loan for college, need a loan to get a house, a car, start a business, almost invariably, right? Uh, and one thing is, it's one of the few wealth building tools you can borrow money from yourself to buy more. A lot of people don't know that, right?
Boy, boy, yeah, I wish I knew how to work this buzzer or something. Boy, I ring it because yes, sir. Say that again.
I mean, so when you think about it, everybody knows, especially if you've been a homeowner the last 10 years, you got this thing called equity. And you pump, I got equity. But we all know, unless you sell that house or go into debt, you can't get that equity out. Now, here's the one thing I forgot to mention. A lot of people don't know. In the stock market, when you borrow money to invest or take out, they don't charge you monthly payments. So it's the only asset you have where you can borrow against it, and they will not charge you monthly payments. They're charging you interest, but they don't care when you pay it back. They know where to get the money from you, so they let you run. So if I got $100,000 account and I'm fully invested in Nvidia, killing it, right? And I
Right.
need 25K maybe to go and get something. I don't know what it's going to be. They'll say, yeah, take 25K out. We'll charge you, X amount of interest. Whenever you sell something in your portfolio or put this money back, that's when you make the payment. But there's no payment in between. It's crazy, And
No kidding.
so it's one of the greatest wealth creators out there. Now, when I say that, and I had all these examples about, hey, if you put this much money in the stock market and these 10 stocks 10, 20, 30 years ago, it'd be and I say, why don't we invest? And the audience is like, because we're gonna lose money. I'm like, exactly. So what's most important about the market when you talk about literacy, like, okay, what and this hit me this weekend when I was making this presentation. Knowing, like, all those terms you put up, they're good terms, but you know what's up there, what's not up there is
Boy,
understanding I'm going to lose money and what that looks like. And that's
that
not a Tyran
facts,
thing. That's
facts.
an industry thing. We all do
Right.
financial literacy, but we never say, okay, now it's going to go down and this is what's going to happen. So I showed them, all these, how the market goes down. And these terms: pullback, correction, bear market. We just kind of went through a correction over the last 3 to 4 weeks, I guess.
Right. Right.
And we bounced back. I know your portfolio's been killed. I know you've been smiling the last.
Well, I'm probably gonna be smiling now. Cause when they drop, I almost went and got a job, bro, just so I could buy more of it. I was like, oh man.
Exactly, man. Dude, Nvidia.
Yes.
Let me put my disclaimer. I'm not saying buy Nvidia. So
Right.
I'll put that out
Understood.
there. Nvidia was $90 on Monday in the pre-market.
Bro,
I was
screaming. I was screaming the same thing.
oh man.
I'm sitting here looking at my chart because obviously you're looking at the charts and I'm like, oh yeah, if she bounced, because I think the other day it was like 111 and she rejected. And when she rejected, that's why we got action.
Yes.
Because I saw the gaps that she had to close anyway, and one was at 80, I think like 90 something, right at the 90, and it closed that one. And I think got another one in the 80s, but then it started taking back off. So I was like, man, I just wound up buying a few, little cheap options. Just to kind of catch the bounce back up. So just yesterday when she pumped, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm liking this.
Yeah. And that's what you're talking about when you say you can stay at home. Like, it is almost unfair that you can do this. And that's what I told them. I'm like, everybody wants to buy the hood before they regentrify. The market gives you that scenario consistently. But it looks like pain. And so it's going to be a pullback of 5%, correction of 10, and a bear market. So I talked about how often that happens, which really doesn't happen as often as people think. The market, like what we just went through, the last time it happened to that extent this year was in the spring, and it wasn't even as severe. What was severe this time, as you know, because you're a trader, was the volatility.
Yes.
And that's what really freaked people out. And I said, so this is what I told them. I said, because what we're getting at is the knowledge gap. Why don't people invest? There's this great stock market. It makes money. Tyran's making money. Maurice is making money. You and I both know if we had to get back out there and go to work, we'd be grumbling and getting on. For you, I guess 285, but for me it's 485, whatever, And, so, and we'd be hating it, and we'd be stuck with these, well, we're gonna give you a cost of living increase or whatever they want to, crumb they're gonna push off the table. But this thing gets us over the hump. So why don't people do it? And so it's that volatility. And so what I told them is, now think about this now. Because the conference is in New Orleans, all y'all got on a plane knowing that planes crash. Like we
Right.
know planes. The plane in Brazil that crashed last weekend, I think 56 people, 65 passengers.
Yeah,
Something
it fell out of the air like a frisbee, didn't it?
like Nobody blinked.
Mm-hmm.
You punched them tickets and got on that plane. And I said, now why is that? Well, let's put that aside. It's not the plane crashing that people worry about. They complain about the volatility, right? The turbulence, right? That's what they freak them out. I said, but even when that turbulence hit that plane, and it hits every flight it hits, nobody gets their parachute and jumps out. And I said, even if you did, yeah, you would be safe. I'm ignoring physics right now. You would be
Right.
safe. But when you land, did you get to where you were trying to go? And they were like, no, you're trying to get to New Orleans. If you parachute out mid-flight, then you're not going to get to your destination. And
Mhm.
that's really what people have to understand when investing. You got to go through that volatility to get to your destination. Let's say you know nothing about investing, but if they just listen to you and say, okay, he mentioned Nvidia, he said something about Amazon. I know you mentioned these names over the last year, and I just
Mhm.
clicked those buttons and didn't do nothing. I've made money. you know, but if I don't control my emotions and my fear of the stock market, I'm going to lose money. Those are really the main lessons because the markets, as you know, the market's going to do the work. you
Oh
know,
yeah,
you just
facts,
got to put your money in.
facts.
So when you think about it, it's actually one of the easiest wealth creators. I don't have to make no mortgage payments. I don't have to hire no employees. I don't have no compliance. You know about my compliance. I don't have to no compliance. But you a chef. I don't have to have no grade. My kitchen don't have to pass a certain grade. I
Right,
don't have to keep this steamed and that clean and that at a certain temperature. It's lazy money, but
right.
you got to get through those emotions. That was a long answer on the knowledge gap, which is I think people know a little bit, but then even when they learn it, it's that fear of losing money that keeps them on the sideline.
You know, I scream that all the time, Maurice. It's the fear of everything. But when I talk to them, the first thing I tell them is, "Hey, man, hold your cell phone up." They hold their cell phone up, and I say, "Now look at your cell phone. This cell phone is going to be obsolete in the next year or two, and you're still making payments on it."
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're currently making payments right now on your cell phone. So the fear of losing money is not really a fear of losing money. You understand? Like it's a fear, but we cool with losing money on stupid stuff sometimes.
Good
You
point.
know what I'm saying? Cell phones, rims on cars, tennis shoes. We're cool with spending money on that. But if we say, hey, put a few dollars into the stock market and take this chance, people are, oh hell no, I can't do that. It's too risky. And
I'm
it's
taking
like,
that line, by the way. I'm writing it right now. The fear of
yeah,
losing money is not really the fear of losing money. I love that. Go, keep
yeah,
going.
it's
Sorry.
it's it's not because everybody I get, and this is what I tell my wife. My wife always tells me I'm hard, on some people. And I'm like, no, man, I try to be on people how my uncles and aunts were on me. They was authentic. They were uncles and aunts. They weren't confused of their sex, and then they knew who they was. So
Mhm.
they held you accountable for your stuff. And that's just how they taught us to be. Like, hey, man, you own up to your crap. So anyway, I say all of that, but if you go into most people's houses, they got a big screen TV in every room. The child got he got PlayStation, Xbox, he got every game in there. They got everything in there that is a sign of wasted money in the house. But then they don't like even the kid, he's a little bitty kid and he got an iPhone and iPad. So
With a
so we
data
got
plan.
money. You know what I'm saying? We got money. It's just what we do with our money that's where we're jacked up. And I say it's the financial, it's like we're mentally almost ill with it
Yeah,
because we're just taught from so much that we don't have money, but we'll go spend it on stuff that don't bring no value.
that's
Tennis
true.
shoes and name brand clothes. So
And,
yeah,
and, and then like I met one guy. Sorry to cut. I met one guy when I was traveling a month ago. Good guy. I'm sure he's investing, so I'm not going to. But he's one of these sneaker collection guys, and I'm not dogging
yeah,
anybody that collects sneakers.
yeah.
He said, "Man, I have a system. I wear a certain pair of shoes once or twice a year, and he
Mm-hmm.
rotates." And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
man, and it's like, so what I'm getting at is even when you spend the money on this stuff, and I was you barely wear it, so your per use
That's
costs is
thank
through
you,
the
Maurice.
roof.
You're buying shoes to step in dirt, and you don't want to step in dirt in the
Yeah.
shoes.
Yeah.
That's why I
Yeah.
be like, man, we so twisted because I say we because I was the same way. I was part of that crew. It's just I started hanging around people who didn't think like that,
Right.
and they are the ones that changed my mindset. Because, hey, man, I hang around some pretty wealthy, and I ain't even saying rich. I'm saying wealthy people, Maurice.
Yeah. That's
Man, I'm
different word.
in sweatpants and t-shirts every day.
Yep.
Kmart, I mean not Kmart, but like Target, Walmart shoes, and so when I started seeing that, because he used to be like the one dude I used to talk to all the time was, what do I need to spend money on it for? Like who am I trying to impress? And it just hit me wrong. And then also when I was working at the Falcons camp up there, so Arthur Blank, obviously he's the owner of the Falcons, so he would come in all the time. I tell people, you ain't never seen $1 billion until you seen a billionaire. Like he come in and he look like money. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like you can smell the hundreds on him, but
Okay. Yeah,
he
Blake's
is
a pretty
so,
smooth dude.
man, hey, let me tell you something. I will tell everybody, because that was the beauty of having that job. I got to talk, I got to see, I got to, do certain things with people. And it's like, damn, man, you're actually pretty cool. Arthur Blank, hands down, true G.
Yeah.
He is a true OG, at least to me. He was real cool.
No. I
Always
remember,
humble.
man. And this is back before sports was really pervasive. I remember him like there was Jerry on the sidelines and there was Arthur Blank. Arthur Blank was such a different type of dude compared to Jerry. And I'm not dogging the Cowboys, Jerry. I'm just saying,
Right. But they two different people.
It was two different people.
Yeah.
And I know I'm make a comment here. He was so disappointed with the Michael Vick thing. And I'm not saying I was disappointed, but you could tell he really.
Oh, he was hurt.
He was
Yeah,
hurt.
he was
So
hurt.
he was, and I just always remember that. The other thing I remember about him and the Home Depot crew is a lot of people may know this, but when they first store, they didn't have a lot of inventory. I'm sure you know this story. And so they would put empty boxes at the top of the shelves to make it seem like they had the inventory on their first store. So, and I always respected that. I'm like, this is real hustling right here.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
You gotta do
what you gotta do to make it, baby. But Maurice, I know I talk to you all day, so I do I wanna get to Stu's question. And his question is, say, for a person like him, he did say that he's a truck driver and everything. He's hesitant to enter the stock market because he doesn't want to lose any money. And he say, do work hard. What advice would we have for a person like himself that is very hesitant about entering the stock market?
Okay. So he's hesitant because he doesn't have time to watch it. Was that what he was saying about driving?
I think it's more the fear, once again, of losing the hard-earned money that he made.
Okay. It's funny. I was negligent in not giving the tools, because I did give the audience the tools to overcome the fear. And so one of those is simply dollar cost averaging, right? Where one of the examples I heard when I used to work in American Express is, imagine going to the gas station and the price fluctuates, right? So one week I'm gonna make some easy numbers up. It's $10 a gallon. The next week it's $20 a gallon, and then the next week it's $5 a gallon. Well, obviously we want the cheapest gas, but we never know when it's going to be there. And when we're out of gas, we're out of gas, right? So what you do is you buy the same amount of gas each week. And what happens is you average in. So you never overpay, right? You never buy a lot of gas at the high dollar amount, and you never buy and you buy more gas, if you will, or cheaper gas at the lower amount. So it's called dollar cost averaging. So that's one way to get around it. So you just put a little bit in at a time. And for him, I mean, we're in the era of fractional investing. So unlike when you and I were getting into it, like if you wanted if Nvidia hadn't done that 10-for-1 split, you'd be paying $1,100, $1,200 for Nvidia.
Facts.
Well, even if they didn't do the split today, someone like Stu, anybody, because none of my clients really buy a whole share out of the gate. You could say, okay, Maurice, I want to put $1.20 in Nvidia, and you would own a piece of Nvidia. So you can say, I'm gonna put $1.20 a day, $12 a week. Start small, and as the market fluctuates, you'll start to build up. It's like first day of camp versus last day of camp. It just hit different. Like you'll be able to weather the storm and get used to the fluctuations, because you have to get used to the fluctuations. And here's something people don't know, but I do, and I know the volatility actually, man, I'm gonna say this and it's gonna scare some people off, but like, okay, when you lose 10% of $1,000, it's $100, right? When you
Mhm.
lose 10% of $1 million, it's $100,000. Now it's the
Mhm.
same 10%,
Yep.
you
It's
know,
just a different outcome.
just different outcome.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
people struggle where Stu is at, and I know people think, well, it's because I don't have a lot of money, and I don't know Stu's situation. But people struggle at the $1 million level too, because it's
Yes.
like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
I went from making 100,000, now I'm losing 100,000.
Yes.
know?
Yeah.
And my advisor's like, just buy and hold, don't sell, whatever. And they have to go through a reacclimation process. And I tell them, I say, everything most people do is based on a 100K scale, 100K income or less or more, 100K in expenses, 100K portfolio. And when once you level up to $1 million, you have to reset to percentages, not dollar amounts. Because if you keep with the dollar amount, you're never going to get used to being down 100,000. You have to
Right.
go to
Facts.
percentages. And I'm
Facts.
just saying
Facts.
all this to say the struggle with money, you and I used to, but the struggle with the money fluctuating, you have to continue. It's a continual learning process.
Mhm.
It's not for everybody. But as you know, nothing in life is for everybody. But the good stuff is for people who are willing to do the work.
Yeah.
So it's just
Now,
what it
now, Maurice, I'm gonna say now because I tell everybody I don't. I guess, and maybe I'm more of a military minded person because I tell I don't give a damn what you do. You need the stock market. You
You
need to
do
get your
need to
ass in the
stop.
stock market.
This is
Yeah,
true.
if
This is true.
unless you live in debt free in America, then fine. But if you ain't, like, if you need money, you need the stock market because it's the only way to rapidly grow your money while you sleep. Like,
Y-
like, period. Anything else, you got to kind of get out the bed to do,
y-
or at least go monitor and look at it. That you can do from home, so you got to do it.
You are totally right. I didn't want to get in this one aspect because it's not a complicated thing, but I did talk about. I listed like 7 reasons why the stock market is the best thing to do for building wealth. The last thing I said, because this is not often mentioned, but you just mentioned it, is a thing called scale. Okay. So I'm
Mhm.
using Stu because he's the only one I have around, but it could be anybody, right? Okay.
Right.
So Stu drives a truck. Truck companies, you go around, they're always wanting to hire drivers, right? Okay. One truck, one load, right? If they want to move more loads, they need more trucks, more drivers, right? They can't put 2 loads on one truck, if you will. It won't work. The truck can't handle it. So they literally have to incur a certain cost to increase their profits, no matter what, and it's a fixed kind of cost.
Mhm.
So you can't scale. Like, so let's use McDonald's. If McDonald's wants to sell more burgers, they got to open more locations, more staff, more turnover, blah, blah, blah. In the stock market, you don't have that issue. You know, your
Mhm.
$1 can turn over and over and over and over
Mhm.
without you having to put another dollar in. You should put more dollars in.
Right.
But if you didn't, I had an example where I said, okay, I'm looking at my slide here. I said, okay, let's go back 10 years. Okay. What I did was I said, okay, raise your hand if you did not order something from Amazon in the last 6 months. I had 150 people. I can send the pictures to verify this. Nobody raised their hand. Think about that. Nobody raised their hand because everybody had ordered. So what does that tell me? I should buy Amazon right now.
Right.
What
Yep.
I said was that's true today, and that was kind of true 10 years ago. So if you had done Amazon, Apple, Home Depot, I named all these companies that everybody uses, right?
Mhm.
Microsoft, Google, Tesla. I said, okay, if you put 10,000 into those stocks 10 years ago, it's 120,000 a day. Now think about that. That's
Mm.
10x return for one click. One click now,
Yeah.
one click.
Yeah.
You can't. Nobody's businesses. Most businesses are not 10xing. They're
Mm-mm.
growing, but not 10x. And then what I said to drive home my point, because people are like, what the hell is he talking about? I said the average home price in 2014 was 320,000. That house would need to be worth 3.2 million today to keep up with the stock market. You see what I'm saying? And so that drove it home, because then it's like, wait a minute, like nobody's home. So 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 to your point, everybody does need the stock market. I agree with that. So
Yeah.
you
Yeah. I
need to
don't.
jump in the stock market.
It's no way around it, man. And just like you just stated. So even with you, Stuart, I know you still listen. The best way to do it to get into the stock market is just what Maurice said. you have what's called fractional shares. So a lot of people think that they'll say that, hey, I'm gonna get in the stock market one day, I'm gonna get my bills right, and I'm gonna get about 500 or 1,000, I'm gonna get in. That's not really the way to stop. Maybe back in the day it did, but the stock market today is you just need probably $4, $2, buy fractional shares, like Maurice say, and then as that stock start coming up, you can flip that money. You don't have to keep flipping your work money, flip that money into more money and then continue to grow. So if you don't come in with a lot of money, yeah, it will take time to grow, but you will grow. If you come in with a lot of money, well, and you know what you're doing, you can grow that because it's a bigger, what am I trying to say? You're coming in with more capital per se.
Yep.
So, so Stuart, again, so I would say that when we went to Afghanistan, we had fear. Before we got on that plane and fly to Afghanistan, I don't give a shit how much we was laughing. We had fear in us. You understand? We didn't know what was on the other side of that plane, when we land in that other country. But nevertheless, we got on that plane and we laughed, we joked, we put our headphones, everything on that plane, knowing that we was probably flying to death, to our death, but we still had a good time. So I equate the stock market just like that, because me personally, I have my best time in the stock market when the stock market is hell. When it's didn't fail and we in this bear market, whatever the hell we call it, that's when I have the most fun, because obviously America is on sale. Like, it's literally on sale right now. You can almost buy whole America for cheap. Because now when this market comes up, almost just like now, just when this recent crap hit and they was talking about the fear, I knew that was a reaction. That wasn't even like the market wasn't. The Fed Chair Powell been saying all year soft landing. Now all of a sudden one report come out and we're in a recession. I was like, man, that don't even make sense. So as they kept selling, I was buying like a hog, Maurice. So so now as things are coming up now, I'm starting to reap the benefits of buying that. So I say again, it's one of those things, you need the stock market. As long as you got bills and you want to retire, it's because other than that, you're going to work 20, 30 years and just only to work more when you're 80, 90. So yeah, I don't think it's an if and but about it. So even when I talk to kids, I don't care what go on. You need to understand the stock market, little homie. Come here. so that's how I operate.
And it's crazy how this is one thing I think that I'm just gonna say, black folks, because I mean we are underexposed.
It is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is, and it's not. And anytime I say this, I mean, let's be fair. It's a byproduct of how we came into the country. You can we know all the story. We know the story, right? So
Mm-hmm.
It's a byproduct of how we came in, and how we came in. It's, as I tell my kids, if I put one kid in the closet and put one kid and don't put the other kid in the closet, I shouldn't expect the same outcome. Excuse me. And
Mm-hmm.
so one of the byproducts is this fear of not getting in. But I was gonna say something else. Blah blah blah. You had said something. I was gonna jump in. Oh man, I forgot it. I forgot.
You like me, but
yeah.
I know it was definitely the fear. You was on that fear though.
It was the fear. You never. And that's what it's the media. So this is what I'll say. So we sometimes. There's some things that happen in the market that happen to everybody. That's regardless of how much they knew as a kid, what they were exposed to, and it is what you just talked about the last 3 weeks. Because if you watch the media, you're right. Soft landing. One bad report, and it's a recession. And
Right.
I'm like, wait a minute, man. and anybody that's been following it, like I know you have, they've been trying to have this recession for 36 months now.
Yeah.
This recession will not
Mhm.
come,
Mhm.
and I'm like, I'm not saying we're recession proof, because one, I was like, well, if it's a recession, we've been trying to kill inflation. And when I did my little recession inflation research a year or two ago, what I discovered was that almost all the times that we beat inflation, we beat it with a recession. We've only had one period where we didn't do it. And maybe this is the second time that we do it, where we do it without a recession. So either way, I'm like, if it's a recession, I'm not surprised, but this don't feel like a recession.
Right.
So,
Right.
but what I love is how everybody sets their hair on fire and starts selling everything. And so you're right, that is a good time. And so I'm saying all that to say, because there's always this perception that we're always behind the 8 ball. Well, when it comes to that fear, you have the whole country's right there with you, but you got to do what Tyran does: make that your favorite week, your favorite time, and be buying,
Yeah.
because the market will go up. 55 out of the last 70 years, the market has ended the year in positive territory.
Yeah.
And in years where it had huge declines, like '08, 2022, pandemic, what a lot of people don't know is it rarely ends the year at the lowest point. So you may have a crash like we had in
Mhm.
2020, where it went down 36%. It ended the year up 16%. But the Black Monday, there's a reason why it's Black Monday and not Black Year. That 26% crash in 87 did not end the year at 27% or 22 whatever percent down, So it's
Mm.
crazy how the market it's a head game, man. It's a head game.
And just how you said though, that's the beautiful thing about it. Man, Maurice, you're so educated into it, so you're comfortable with the decisions that you make, and that's where people miss it. That's why fear it lingers so much, because it's like where you have fear because you're uncomfortable with your decision. You don't know enough.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you knew enough, then just like me, I say just like you're comfortable enough to put 10, 20,000 on a particular stock or so, because you understand how the game is played and how the stock move. A
Mhm.
person that's just coming in and hears about it, hell no, they ain't comfortable at all. So they just know that they put $20 in, now it's at 10, they finna sell because they don't want to lose the other 10. So
Yeah. And,
yeah,
and I'll tell
yeah.
you, man, even with that, I'm sure you got like an account that you pretty much is static, that you don't trade, and you got your trading account, if you will.
Mhm.
For I have my own 401k as a business owner. I never look at my 401k. Like it's 100% in the market. I don't even look at it.
Yep.
And that is to protect me from doing things, because
Yeah.
that's not my trading account. Now my margin account, I look at it, but I'm looking at it to buy, right? So I'm going in and I have a saying: I'll put 5% in almost anything. Somebody bring me an
Mhm.
idea, I'll throw 5% in it, because I'm hunting for outsized gains.
Yeah.
So I like what you do. If you can't overcome the fear, embrace the game, right? Embrace that you're hunting and you're gonna take some hits, like
Yeah.
and get out there and get your feet wet. Because once you catch that, once it hits, what they say, like by year two, a pro NFL player, or maybe it's basketball, they start to figure it out by year
Mhm.
three. Like
Mhm.
once you figure it out, it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Maurice, let me tell you, man, that is hands down true. Because I always saw these videos where they would always pop up, and it would be these Wall Street guys, and they always say that, you got to be in the market for at least anywhere from 3 to 5 years or so before you start making money and all this stuff. And I used to
Mhm.
be like, man, that's bull crap, but it's true. Like
It's
honestly, I didn't really start making money until this year. I
Mhm,
started I
mhm.
started trading in COVID. I picked up in 2020, so this is my 4th year.
Okay,
So
there
I
you go.
told my wife, I said, had this been a real college, I would have graduated in May.
Yep.
So this would have made sense, because around I think around February, March, April, it was April of this year, April, May is when it was like the aha moment, and I started
Mhm.
having a whole lot of money hit, and I'm like, oh man, you telling me I've been doing this wrong the whole damn time? Like it was that type of moment. So,
Yeah.
and that
No.
was at year 4. So
And in doing that, I'm sure you know this. It's like, I think one thing people do in the learning process is they get obsessed with being perfect. And
yes,
um,
yes.
and I tell people, you want to be more correct than perfect, because if you're too perfect, you try to be perfect going forward. Like
Mhm.
and you don't allow yourself to take some L's. And so yeah. This is the only arena where people think every decision has to be perfect. Buy at the right time, sell at the right time. Don't sell, don't buy at the right time. And it's just not going to happen if you're trying to make money. And so that's part of the learning process too. You see, when I talk to you, you actually get me to take off my advisor hat, because I get back to, because I didn't start out trying to be an advisor. I followed, just like I said, passion, persistence, interest. I sat through a 401k presentation at work, and I'm like, I like this stuff. And that's how I started investing. It
So,
wasn't,
so you made that pivot, pretty
yeah,
much.
yeah. I said, well, how can I do this all the time? Oh, okay, don't be an engineer anymore. Just be a financial advisor, and then you can do it all the time. I mean, I've never lost that interest in the market because every day it's freaking different. Like even right now, they're like, okay, well, most of the losses from the last 3 weeks are over. We're back to soft landing. There's all these narratives, and
Hmm.
the thing is, unlike, and I'm gonna make a political statement, unlike politics and even unlike sports, because one thing I hate about sports is I've gotten older. I hate the preseason because I hate talking about what may happen.
There you
I
go.
like stuff that happens. So the market, it's like doggone it at 9:30. Hell, even before 9:30, whatever's happening is going down right now. Like, it's like ain't no predictions. It's like, dude, like them prices moving in the pre-market and they moving in the aftermarket. Hey, what you gonna do? Ain't no thinking, ain't no like we think this gonna happen. And I love that. I want to vote now so we can start talking about administrations, not
Hmm.
elections. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I want the Chiefs to play now so we don't have to talk about a three-peat. Let's see if you're gonna get a three-peat. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like that now in life. So that's what I love about the market. It's there. You can't hype it up too much because whatever's gonna happen is happening. So I'm gonna stop
Right.
talking. I'll run all day.
Man, because this is us. Like that's why I like to record this, because I'm like, this is literally us talking, but the stuff we talk about, I know can feed other people's brains so much that like we can't keep having this one on the cell phone. So man, I don't care. You talk away, Maurice. I don't give a damn. Because hopefully, if people listening, they learning. Because you ain't doing nothing but dropping game, bro.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So,
But I like that you have been insistent, and that's where your military background. Because I haven't led men. I got a little team here, right? But we're not flying to Afghanistan, like so like I
understood.
don't, I don't use. I mean, I've gotten out of the using the military references. I've learned that's not quite the same thing, and I don't play sports anymore, so I don't have to. But what I'm getting at is when you lead people, when you've been in combat like your margin for like okay letting things slide goes out the way because you can get killed. Like,
Hmm.
so,
Thank you.
like,
That's what I tell people. That is so instill. Hey man, you're gonna get us killed, bro. I don't give a damn. Ain't nobody
and,
shooting it. I don't give a damn. You're gonna get us killed, bro.
and so I like that. That's one I'm telling your audience. That's one of many big advantages of working, beer talk with a vet is that you're getting this, uh, you know, um, I'm gonna say knockover, this effect, halo effect of you being in the military and provide. Because really, one thing you raise sons, I raise daughters. I don't know if you have a daughter as well,
Nah.
but girl dads, if we had to be quite frank, we get to be a little softer. Now we scared as hell
Right?
because we're guys and we know what's out there. But when you raising men, like whenever my godson has been with me, it's like a switch goes off, and I treat him with a little bit more discipline, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
man, we was at a fall festival, and he backed away from a competition. I'm like, man, what you doing? Like
Yeah, hey
you,
man,
you
no,
gotta
go
get
get
out
out there,
there.
boy.
Like,
Hey, go take
and
this L or this W, but you're gonna
basically,
do
man,
something.
and what I was telling him was like, man, life is a game, it's a competition,
Mm-hmm.
And I lose a little bit of that with my daughters because you can't yell at them too much. And I'm not being sexist; it's true,
It's
because if
it
I yell at them too much, they start crying.
right.
you
See,
know,
because
Go
it's a
ahead.
different parent thing that I love. I don't have daughters, but I do have nieces, and I
Mhm.
do the same.
Yep.
Because it's like a daughter, you don't want to yell at them, and you don't want them
Yep.
to get accustomed to be yelled at
Yep.
and stuff. But yeah, with the son, my sons, yeah, as soon as they walk past me, I'm popping them in the chest or they
See?
gut as they
Yep.
walk by, like, hey
Yep.
man, put your head up and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Stick your chest out.
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of still that manly man thing. I'm gonna be
Yep.
honest, because I think like me, we're really a dying breed for real. Because a
For
lot of
real.
people, yeah, they ain't pushing that manly type of thing to kids. They're like, well, just be what you want. Like
Yeah.
he don't know what the hell he want to be.
He
That's
don't
why I'm
know
trying
what
to
it
help him, make a decision. So
Hey,
yeah,
you ever heard the saying "class is always in style"?
class is
Like
always in
just
style.
yeah, having class, grace.
Oh
Um,
yes,
yeah,
having class. Yeah, okay, I dig it.
people mistake. So I'm gonna use a term here that's kind of a loaded phrase, but it still is rooted in certain. there's a toxic masculinity. We know what it is. You know,
Mhm.
the dude that's pumping his chest a little too much. He ain't really about that. The real men, though, I think Jay-Z said real something moving silence or whatever. I
Yeah.
don't know what but when you're around a dude that's grounded, knows what he wants, and can lead, he don't really have to tell everybody.
Mhm.
And so I feel like in where we are now, we're missing some of the benefits of, I'm gonna say it, being a man. It's
Yeah.
not quite what the caricatures. It's like my dad. I always knew my dad. He's still alive. Coolest dude. You know, Dad would just sit there. He was military. Korean War
Mm.
or Vietnam, I think. And he was like, but he never had to be the biggest dude, the loudest dude in the room. But at the end of the day, he was always one of the leaders in the room
Mhm.
because he led with service, parking lot ministry, back of the church deacon. They had to pull him up to lead classes, and that's manhood, right? Like, okay, when you're called upon, you do it,
Right.
and but in the context of the stock market, it's like when you know there's a better way to do something, you have to do it as a guy. I know I'm sounding outdated, but you
No.
gotta do it. You know what I'm saying?
You
Like
got to, bro.
you
Yeah,
gotta,
ain't no if and buts. I wouldn't give a damn if it did hurt somebody's feelings. Like you speaking facts. It's
yeah.
facts.
Yeah, it's on you, bro. It's good if they do it, but it's on you to do it. Even if you aren't the best at it, somebody's watching. In the 100 Black Men, we say, hey, what they see is what they'll become. So
Mhm.
it's incumbent on you to embrace that and run with it. And here's the thing: you are equipped, by nature and by divine intervention to do just that. That's what that's what the design says.
That's
So all right,
fact.
I would get in trouble with the female clients. But when I say that, and this is my last soapbox, I have a lot of female clients. I think what gets lost in 2024 is that when I make that comment, I'm not saying, just like if I say Tyran's sons are good at sports, I'm not saying they're not good in the classroom. And I think that's
Mhm.
what's gotten lost, is that I'm saying one thing, I'm not saying the other thing.
Mhm.
And I think we've let the stereotypes fill the space. And it's the internet, because we're not having conversations, we're making posts, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And
So
Maurice, let me tell you something, man. That's why I don't care nothing about social media, man. I have no care because that is my thing. It's like you're honestly, I always say if you going back and forth with somebody on social media, one of the parties is on the toilet.
yes.
Somebody on the toilet. So if it ain't you, then it got to be him. So that means that you're literally giving your hard-earned time to somebody that's taking essentially a dump. You know what I'm saying?
Amen.
So
Amen.
I yeah, I don't worry about any of that, man. It's
Yeah.
just like it's so much other stuff to worry about.
There is. There is. You step outside your door and it's like those posts didn't even happen.
Yeah, like, and I know me, I post 5,200 things, and by the time I post, I don't even know what I posted. My
Yep.
wife be coming in fussing about stuff. I'm like, yeah, I don't even know what I post because
Yeah, man.
it's a send and gone for me.
And I
So,
used to be really active on that stuff. In the late 2000s and kind of 2010s, and then
right.
I just got busy. Like, you know what it is, the platforms outgrew me. I never got on. I'm on Instagram, but I never could get used to Instagram. And Facebook, I mean, I'm still there, but the algorithm's always messing with stuff.
Hmm.
But so I'm not saying I'm better than social media. It's just I got old.
No, no, I'm be honest, Maurice. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
So this is real talk. This is real
Uh,
talk. So a lot of the wealthy people in the world,
uh,
uh, they don't get on social media, and
I
they
believe
don't even have a smartphone. Some of them got a
it.
flip phone, believe it or not.
I believe it.
Because even with a few that I talk to, they're like, I don't need all of that. I just like I don't need to check my email. I don't need to do all of this.
It's true.
And for me, I'm kind of like that. Being retired, as my wife say, the only thing that I do is inquire more crap to do. She's like, why are
It's
you
true.
steady taking on more responsibility? But I'm also the type that's like, well, I'm still young, and it's not right to bless somebody. I got time, so I'll bless them with a little bit of time. Even though every time I do it, I regret it. I blessed them with that time. I wind up regretting it, but it's still one of those things where with me, I know my granny was just always like, always help
Hmm.
people. So that's
Hmm.
just kind of in me. So, but
Especially a
anyway,
guy
Maurice,
like you, man. You're so skilled, man. I mean, they're gonna they're gonna
they
pull on you.
man, boy, like a leech, like a and what's crazy is I try to help everybody, and
Mhm.
it's like the people you help, you like I'll give my time away to go help. I'll come back home, man. I got dogs, I got chickens, I got kids. So I'm cleaning chicken crap, I'm cleaning dog crap, and then I'm like, man, I just went and dedicated my time, and even they crapped on me, you know. It's like I just put all of this crap to the side. So that's why I say now anything that I do, I like to do it from the internet because I can do it right from home and I can get back to
Mhm.
doing what I got to do. Because
I like that.
yeah, even when I was driving to the job, so I wound up taking that. I don't know if you remember, I had that job at the studio. I
Mhm.
really only took the job because I was taking my wife to work and I got tired of coming back home. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, man, I'm getting tired of this drive. So I told
Yep.
her one day, I said, man, I'm gonna go get a job. So she thought I was joking, which I kind of was, but
Uh,
it's just like she go like, you just gonna go get a job? I said, yeah, I'm just gonna walk in. She's like, you ain't gonna take no resume? I ain't taking nothing. No, they because they need somebody to work. They don't need no damn resume for me. And I went in with that cocky attitude, no resume. And it wasn't because I was retired or nothing. It's just because one, I went in and I was very professional with what I did.
Mhm.
And like I said, as I told them, hey man, if you want a resume, I can get you one, but you can't talk to that resume when I'm gone. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
You can talk to me while I'm here, answer me anything, ask me
That's true.
anything, I'll answer it. Because once I'm gone, that's all you're gonna remember is a resume. So if anything, I'm gonna be remembered as the one dude that came in with no resume, but I will, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna stand out one way or another. And sure enough, I got the job. I wound up working there. And I stayed there for a nice minute, but I would even tell them that I love being here and I'm here to help you guys. I'm retired, so I'm just kind of here to help you guys. So just don't disrespect me, is all I ask. I don't ask for nothing else. Just don't treat me like an everyday worker. And for the most part, they were straight. And I understand people had bad days, but they came in, and I just didn't like the tone that the one dude used. I was like, nah, man, I'm out of here. Because you know, and it's not to be cocky, but it's like I'm literally here, but I know now you're gonna push me into a corner and I'm gonna react. And at the end of the day, I could have been at home watching TV. So it's like I ain't gonna let you win on this one. I'm just gonna take my butt back home.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
that's yeah, that's essentially what happened. So but I say all of that because I always say, man, I'm a retired person with nothing but time. My job should really just be to stay at home, and you know, it's hard enough being a damn farmer, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. Just that alone breaks you off. But I still stay active and try to do stuff. I still get up, Maurice, man. I try to go feed the homeless. I try to go get them off the street. You know, if they want a bed, I volunteer my time with a lot of stuff. So I always say if that's what I'm doing as a retired person, then it's hard for me to listen to a person who's fully healthy and they're not doing nothing for themselves.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
That is true.
yeah, so that's just
It's
kind of
incongruent.
yeah. So we I transition all that to say is as you was talking to your nephew and all of it's like no, because we still got to be men, and at
That's
these
true.
days and time, most men most I'll say it, most men want to be women and most women want to be men.
That's
So
true.
it's a lot of so you can't teach kids what to be when you don't even know what the hell you want to be.
That's true.
But for me, I was raised by men. I was raised by women. They knew exactly who they was, and they held us accountable as nephews, nieces, sons, and daughters. So if there was something that, like you say, I was supposed to do, take trash out and all that, no matter how minute, the uncles or the men was still in your butt because they're teaching. And I look back, it was just responsibility. I
Yeah.
look on kids now; they don't have much responsibility. So you
And
know,
that's key because what you just said with that R word is okay. Why are you in my butt? Because I'm teaching you responsibility. So,
responsibility. Yeah,
you know,
that's it. So, and if you could look at it as, and this is what I tell my kids, my job, me and your mom's job, is to give you the base recipe of life. You understand? Like we
Mhm.
giving you the base. I'm teaching your life is basically this pot of gumbo. I
Yep.
got the flour, I got the oil, I got a little salt and pepper.
Yep.
What you add from this is on you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm giving you the foundation. Now, if you don't want to put no paprika, you don't want to go somewhere and learn this, you don't want to do this to spice up your life, say, man, that's on you. But I know I gave you that foundation to be a man and get out here and do what's right.
There you
So
go.
that's all we can do at the end of the day, man. So, but either way, Maurice, I'll talk your ear off, man. And I know you got something to do here in a minute. So
Oh yeah, I do
thank
have to
you.
take it up on me. Yeah. Hey man, it's been great, man. Yeah, you tell our little friend, thank you for, getting on our butts and
Yeah, and you know she gonna do it. So we're gonna probably have to kick another one because she want us to be doing at least me and you every month. And as I told her, you know, I really like that because on the next one, granted, Stu's probably the only one, and a few people may watch and then hit me back up. But I would love to get it at a point where they can just be on and ask you just simple things.
Yeah, definitely.
So they
I'll
get
preach
that
a little less next time.
Hey man, Maurice, we can go 2 hours, Paul. I give a damn, man. I sponsor me, so we can go as long as we want.
Exactly.
But I did want to say that as I sent you those messages before, man, because I know you wanted to kind of incorporate the options into your business to help stuff grow. So as I told you before, I don't know what I could do to help, but I'll do whatever I could do to help until you can find a permanent person. But I do know options is what you need to have in your business.
Definitely. No, you're totally right. And I need to I'll put that on my list. I have been running around, but that's one thing about this business. As you expand, you have to become what's called highly functional, where somebody has a certain role, and I have just not I have not returned to that. I've been doing stuff behind the scenes, but I need to get on that. So expect us to really cover that ground before the end of the year.
I'm telling you, man, because it definitely is. And as I tell everybody, this transition period that's going on now, right now, the market don't know if it's going to be Democrats, leading, or will it be Republican. Now, me personally, I feel like the market was making that transition for the Trump era to come back in. Because it was pretty evident, him against Biden, it was probably he was gonna smoke him. Right. But now that they kind of pulled a big joker out, it seems like the market is kind of on that balance of we don't know which way we're gonna go.
Exactly. No, I totally agree.
Yeah, so I would say it's a lot of companies that's on the come up either way. I tell everybody, hey man, Maurice, don't sleep on Tesla. Don't sleep on Tesla. Don't sleep on Tesla, because Elon Musk is not giving Donald Trump $45 million a month for nothing. That's my theory. And Elon, I don't know if you know it, but he already got his robotics up and ready to go, his robot. So it's something holding him up. And I guess, and that's why I keep going, whatever it is, it's on the Trump watch. Because him and Trump they were not friends. You know what I'm saying? They didn't even like each other. Now they sit there and talk about they besties.
You know what? It has kind of, just kind of come out of nowhere, hasn't it?
Yeah. Before, when he was in office, they couldn't stand each other. You know what I'm saying? But now he done got them back on X and all this kind of stuff. So it's like, if you read between the lines, if you're a business person, look at a business person. Why the hell would you go associate with your known enemy? This known enemy got to have something that you need. And I think it's something to do with these damn, the autonomous driving that's coming out. I feel like it's something with that, but it's definitely something with these damn robots, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I say that because that those are things we got to talk about. But them things I look at is the big heavy companies, like you mentioned, Nvidia. I tell people Nvidia is like, yeah, they're a boss, but if you want to be able to be affordable, go find out who Nvidia is working with and who they invested in, and then look at investing in them. And I know SoundHound is one of them.
Oh yeah,
SoundHound AI, and then my baby Palantir is just whatever. So anyway, these are a lot of things that I know I want to chop it up with you on, because they are excellent companies, and the options that you probably could do, man, you probably see $1 million like easy in one portfolio probably by the end of the year.
Okay. Hey, you're talking my language.
Yeah, so that's why I said I don't care what happened. If me and you just need to get on the phone to get that understood, I want to help you with that until you get somebody solid.
Okay. So, or you just get licensed.
Hey man, Maurice, don't promise me a good day, man. Now if it's something with you, I'll do it. But if you tell me I got to go to school and learn one more thing, oh no, I ain't doing it, man. I am schooled the hell out. I don't want to learn nothing else. But anyway, man, Maurice, thanks for your time, man. I really do appreciate you, and I'm definitely gonna reach out so we can do this again. Actually, probably next month if that's cool.
All right, no problem.
All right. Well, Maurice, you be easy, man. Go enjoy your day, and I'll talk to you.
All right, appreciate it.
All right, man. Later. All right, so that's that. Stu, if you're still out there, man, I do appreciate you tuning in this long. And just understand, the stock market, Stu, it's hands down. It's something we got to do. But like I say, man, when we jumped that plane, that bird to go to Afghanistan, I don't know about you, bro. I ain't gonna shit you. I was scared out of my mind. I was still cool, calm, and gunny. But I ain't gonna shit you. I was scared mostly because, hey man, I didn't know if I was ever gonna see my family again. That was my biggest fear. Death never scares me, but knowing that one day I may never see them, then yeah, that did. Well, the stock market is just like that, Stu. It's a lot of fear within that. No one wants to lose money, but we gotta understand we gotta lose money in order to make money. Because in the stock market, you only lose money when you sell. So as we were just stating, all of this stuff that went on in the market here a few days ago, these last few weeks, it's been a lot of fear. But the more that you stay up on the companies, the market, and so on, you'll know what's real fear and what's an overreaction. And here this week was definitely an overreaction. The country is just kind of waiting to see what the Federal Reserve does next month with these interest rates. What percentage of a rate are we going to get? If the percentage is a respectful percentage, then you're going to see the stock market continue to fly. You're probably going to see houses start to pick home loans, pick up a little bit, all of these different things, because the stock market is based off of the economy. Nothing else in the whole world. It's based off of, are you, me, and everyone else spending money, or are we saving money? Or like, are we taking our money out of the stock market because we're scared? That's how the stock market lives, like the economy and how we spend money. So anyway, once we start understanding that, you'll be able to pick up on some of these games and see like, oh man, it's an overreaction or this a real deal thing. So, but I don't think it's any way around it. We have to invest. So prime example, Stu, what you do right now is you drive your truck. Once you start understanding the stock market more, your day will become so much easier. And especially once I can get you to understand options better. As you have windshield time on that road, Stu, just go down that rabbit hole of stock options, not just the stock market, but stock options. Options are how you can actually buy an option today, like right now, this very second. You can put in an order to buy a stock option, and you can also sell that same stock option that you haven't even bought yet. You can still set that up to be sold as well at a later date of time, if not today. So what does that mean? That means that you can wake up in the morning, or you maybe at night before you go to bed, you see a stock because you know how to look at charts and stuff. You see a particular stock is down. You can set a buy right now to say, I'm just using for an example. I'm not saying buy it, but let's just say Tesla is sitting at $100. And you say, oh man, that is very cheap. Well, I'm going to buy, I happen to have a few hundred. I'm going to buy two. If it comes to $95, I'm going to buy two. So you could do what's called set a buy order. And this is all on Robinhood, and it may be a lot, but just understand you can do that. You can set a buy order. Now I can also take that same buy order and say, hey, I want to buy it at $95. If Tesla comes to $95, I want to buy two at $95. And then it's going to have a sale block. At what price do you want to sell? You might say, hey, Tesla, I think it's going to go to $150. So I want to sell it at $150. You swipe it up, and now it sits there either for that day or to sit there for 60, 90, whatever days. That's it. That is it. You ain't got to look at no charts. You ain't got to do a damn thing, but just know how to. So now as you driving down the road, maybe the boss just called and said, I don't know, a shift got canceled or a route got canceled. The only thing you're thinking is, damn, I just lost that money. Now all of a sudden your phone pings, ping, you just made $150, $200 from your Tesla option. It's that damn simple. It ain't no looking at charts. It ain't no sitting in front of computers. It ain't none of that crap that people, do on Hollywood TV. Nah, man, you do all this crap from the cell phone. And if I can be absolutely blunt with you, Stu, half of the money that I make, I do that shit while I'm on the toilet. Because I know how to look at a chart. I can go on to Robinhood or E-Trade from my phone, look at a chart, see that something is down, and be like, oh man, I'm finna put $200 on it. And the next thing you know, that 200 can be 2,000 or 10,000 or who knows what it could be. You understand? So anyway, that's the importance of the stock market. So I understand that fear is there. It's a fear from the first day of college, and then eventually we graduate. We don't even have a job yet, but you have a degree that you just paid a whole lot of damn money for, and you don't even have a job yet. You understand? That too should be fear. Sometimes people aren't as fearful in that situation than others. So that's why I say fear is just one of them things we got to learn to conquer. So again, Stu, hey man, you're an Iraqi and Afghanistan vet, and you are a father and a husband, and you are Black in America. I'm gonna tell you this, bro. Stock market can't even bring you half of the shit that you've already accomplished. You understand? You beat stereotypes every day. So don't worry about the stock market. All right. Don't have fear of losing money, because you're going to lose a little bit of money in order to make a lot of money. All right. So if you ever see the stock market and it's bloody red and stocks are down and you're going, damn, my portfolio is losing money, just know that's like the stock market putting a 60% sale sign on for Black Friday or something. That is when you should look to acquire more, like Maurice said. That's when you want to buy more. So I can ramble, man. I can do all of that, Stu. You know I love y'all, and I will try to do this a little bit more often for you guys, because I want you to win. So if you got your Robinhood and all that set up, then just as you go through YouTube and start understanding more, I want you to start looking at the actual charts on Robinhood. Look at the red candles, green candles. If today if tomorrow's price, if yesterday's prices are higher than today's prices, then we're probably going down. But if today's prices is higher than yesterday's prices or last week's prices, we're probably going up. All right. So what does that mean? That means that, well, if there's ever a time that you want to buy when it's down. You don't really want to buy when it's going up, because chances are it's going to come back down. And then that means you're going to lose money. So I love you. Y'all be easy, man. You know, Gunna got you to the day he ain't even breathing no more, you know. So you take care, Stu. You be easy on that road. And anybody else is tuning in, thanks for checking out Beard Talk with a Veteran. And I'm out of this beach. All right. I got a little going out music to hit you with that, Stu. So you be easy, man. I love you, man. Peace.
Tyran. What up, baby? What up, baby? What up, baby?
Cheers. Toast the crime.
Certain malls we was built upon it. Some are living through them, some were killed upon it. Gonna deliver opinions how we feel in moments. Straight deliver the real with no filter on it. Breaking news, what's the breaking news? Had you wondering where he gon' take it to? Just getting some shit off of his chest. So welcome to Beard Talk with a vet. The First Amendment is freedom of speech. We here to debate, we eager to teach. There's some misinformed people we eager to reach. And there's a bunch of information we need to see. The homie Tyran got the pot on lock. Lot of props, this the equivalent of the barbershop. Some topics light, some heavy, some life, some deadly, some right, some messy. But the homie speaking his truth, so just listen. And he ain't really giving a fuck about your opinion. The mission, open your ears, you can let him in. This Beard Talk with a veteran. Certain malls we was built upon it. Some are living through them, some were killed upon it. Gonna deliver opinions how we feel in moments. Straight deliver the real with no filter on it. Breaking news, what's the breaking news? Had you wondering where he gon' take it to? Just getting some shit off of his chest. So welcome to Beard Talk with a vet.
Beard Talk with a vet. Family Tyran Cosby. You already know what the fuck it is. No filter.
Beard Talk with a Vet is a raw, uncut, and unfiltered conversation about the minority male experience. Hosted by retired U.S. Marine Corps veteran turned CEO Tyran Cosby. Whether you are a rookie in the game of life, a seasoned vet from the School of Hard Knocks, or somewhere in between, sit back and listen, laugh, or learn as Tyran sounds off about hot topics, culture, and manhood. Here's Tyran.